Local investment may sound exotic, but opportunities for putting your savings to work in your community are becoming more common and more lucrative. At this point, most authors of investment books will spin stories that show their financial brilliance. Here's how I transformed powdered moose antlers into a $100 million health food empire. Instead, I will tell you an embarrassing story of my own short-sightedness that almost drove me into bankruptcy. If I knew then what I know now, I could have prevented more than a decade of serious financial struggle. My mistake, however, is now your opportunity. One of my favorite Gary Larson cartoons is of a crisis clinic on fire, floating down a river, about to plunge over a waterfall. That's what my life was like in 2008. That was the year I had decided to divorce, start paying child support for 2 young children, move into a new house, and take a new job. Then the financial crisis hit. My new job vanished, and opportunities for consulting work were drying up. Having been married to a talented law professor with an expertise in family law, please don't laugh, I was struggling to keep up with punishing custody payments and lawyer bills. The one financial bright spot was that my spouse had accumulated a significant pension, and we agreed, as part of our divorce settlement, that half would be transferred to me. Normally, you cannot touch tax-deferred funds like these until you retire, and if you do, you will be sacked by the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, with a 10% penalty. But when a court orders the redistribution of marital assets, you can use them immediately without penalty. Ordinary taxes are taken out of money you withdraw, and then the funds are yours. I decided to use the proceeds to pay off all my debts, credit cards, automobile, various personal loans. I thought it would be smart to begin my new life with a clean financial slate. About a year later, as I was doing my taxes, I learned something the divorce attorneys never warned me about. The transfer of funds pushed me into a substantially higher income bracket, and the much-dreaded alternative minimum tax kicked in. Suddenly, I owed Uncle Sam about $80,000. I paid off some of this debt with credit cards, and the rest went into an IRS payment plan. After paying over 20% interest and penalties for several years, my debt situation was far worse than it had been before I divorced. I have since learned about an option that could have saved me all this grief. A solo 401k is a retirement savings account designed for self-employed individuals, which is what I was in 2009. I could have transferred my former wife's pension into that account and given myself a 5-year, $50,000 loan to pay off all my debts. There would never have been an awful tax bill from the IRS. In fact, no taxes would have been taken out of the transfer at all, because I would have rolled it over directly into another tax-deferred account. And instead of paying over 20% interest to credit card companies for years, I could have paid my solo 401k back at 5% interest over 5 years, and the literally tens of thousands of dollars of interest I had paid to Visa and MasterCard would have instead gone straight into my retirement account. Rather than being broke with massive debts in front of me, I would have paid everything off in 5 years and had a healthy nest egg for retirement. Smart local investing in myself would have paid huge dividends. Okay, I was a fool, but then again, no one in my life, not my lawyers, not financial advisors I consulted, not my many Ivy League educated friends, knew about the solo 401k either. Neither did you, I bet. Live and learn. You, however, will never have to repeat this mistake, because I'm now about to introduce you to the huge, unappreciated potential of DIY accounts.